Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining our webinar, One Wallet Connector to Rule Them All. I'm pretty sure that this session will be very informative and useful for everybody, for myself in first sight. Before starting, just a few housekeeping rules. You will have available both chat and Q&A session. Use the chat for comments and interactions between you. For instance, just saying us hello and where are you attending us from. While for questions submitted to Mirko and myself, please use the Q&A feature, so we'll be able to follow up. This session is recorded, so the webinar, the recording, and the materials will be shared after the webinar to all registered participants, either they were able to join us now or their plans change in the meantime. So don't worry, you will receive the recording and the slide deck. Without further delays, let me introduce myself. I'm Vicky Manaila, Trust Services Director with Intesi Group, and dealing with EIDAS in every form and facet, and service and compliance and technical standards ever since. With me today, I have Mirko. Please, Mirko, introduce yourself.
Thank you very, Vicky. And yes, hello, everyone. My name is Mirko, working for Sprint, or also it's called the German Federal Agency for Breakthrough Innovation, that is working on the EUDI wallet ecosystem for Germany. Yes.
Yeah, we've heard a lot of good things about Sprint, and I'm a big fan of your approach, of your team, of working and collaborating for the German wallet development. Thank you, Mirko. Here is the agenda for today. We will start discussing about the Eudiplo connector. What is that? What is the meaning? Then we will share the roadmap, how the community can support the further development, and how you can join the fellowship. After that, Mirko will provide a live demo for to see how it's working, this connector. And we will close with the Q&A session after the demo. So keep your questions or write them in the Q&A section. We know that there is a deadline for December 2026, January 2027, when all member states are mandated to provide at least one EUDI wallet solution to their citizens. What is the situation? What is the status of those developments? You have here a map where I try to understand and to mark down different stages of the wallet solutions development and implementations in EU. And you will see that the map is from May this year. In the meantime, there are few changes and the map will be updated. So you see that we have already digital wallet solutions in productions, or countries that are developing currently their EUDI wallet, or countries that are at a model definition stage, or countries that still don't have yet an initiative. So you can imagine that from January 2027, we will have at least 27 EUDI wallet solutions within the European Union market. These 27 wallet solutions mean at least 27 implementations, different implementations, means 27 plus hosted services. So having a standardized wallet solution is very good, but that does not mean is easy to be implemented. And those of you working in different projects, either in large-scale pilots or in solutions for member states or from private companies, you know that is very difficult to implement, to not discuss about options regarding standards that you may implement. We know that the wallet application in itself is not a silver bullet. So having a wallet on the market issued as a country is not enough, because the wallet needs to work in an ecosystem where we will have providers, we will have PID providers, electronic attestation of attributes providers, trust service providers, electronic signatures. And on the other side, we will have relying parties that need to work with within this ecosystem to provide services, digital services to the citizens through the digital identity wallet. So it is really overwhelming and complicated, but here it comes into play the role of a wallet connector. And Mirko, who had this brilliant idea to start developing and working to provide this wallet connector, will walk us through what is this about, what is the Eudiplo connector. Mirko, over to you.
Thank you very much, Vicky, for explaining the situation in Europe. And yes, so I'm on the German EUDI wallet for over 1 year right now. Also for before this in one of the bigger projects. And then we say, okay, when we have the wallet, this will not build the ecosystem. We need something how to interact with the wallet, either as the issuer or either as the verifier. And we also already see some companies out there, corporates and startups providing services out there. We also see there multiple implementations, like for different protocols, for example, for the different credential formats like SDJOTs, W3C, VCDM, MDoc, and so on, or the transport protocols from the OpenID Foundation, like OpenID for VCI, and so on. But you have multiple blocks out there. Some are written in different programming languages. But for the testing phase, where we are right now, where people want to try it out, how can I use it? They don't want to spend thousands of euros already because there's no real demand. The idea was, okay, how about you provide a project? And the best organization for this, in my perspective, is the Open Wallet Foundation. I think, please correct me, but around 2 or 3 years old, so quite young. And the OpenID Foundation, Open Wallet Foundation, is a house for every open source project in the whole wallet ecosystem. So it's not only limited for EUDI wallet, I think not even limited for identity. So there you will already find really cool projects in different stages and already communities that are built. And I think these are the two most important points about this project. On the one hand, it's open source, so it requires no licenses or has no demands when you use it. So you could even use this tool and monetize it. But on the best part is you don't have to pay me or anyone there any licenses. And of course, it should be community driven. so that we know, okay, when people say, okay, this is missing, I want to implement it, you can discuss this in the community. And when the community says, well, this is a good feature, it would be really cool to have it inside, it can be implemented. Yes. And
It's
when you want,
really is really a vibrant community in Open Wallet Foundation.
yes, and if you want to have more information, click on the QR code. But I think we will be able to share all the links later that are useful to you. Yes, when we come to the next slide, we will see what is Eudiplo. Don't ask me how I got the name. So the long form is European Union Digital Identity Protocol Liaison Operator. So
Yep.
this is
So
a
this is
long
the
form.
acronym coming from. Good
I
to
will
know.
I will ask in the future about this. And the main idea is like it should be a middleware between you. So it's a connector between the EUDI wallet and your existing system. Really important, it's not a business wallet. So it's not the EUDI wallet for LPITs that are used for businesses. This will come in the future, but this project is this connector in the middle. And the question is, why do you need this? Well, normally you have your CRM, you have your access control system and so on, and now you want to interact with the EUDI wallet. There we have the different protocols, but as described already, there's no good implementation. All the different programming languages. Some prefer Java, some prefer Rust, some even PHP. So it's very difficult out there. And the idea is, hey, what about when I have a service that I can host in my own infrastructure, which is important because of GDPR and privacy, that I can host and that I can easily interact with standard API calls. So Eudiplo does not care what is your favorite programming language. It will offer you an open API that you can use to start the different processes. We will see a live demo later to issue credentials and to consume them and also to interact with it. And then Eudiplo will make the whole interaction with the EUDI wallet. And the good part is you don't even have to write one line of code, but you can use configuration files. You can also manage your keys, and it comes even with an own web client. So yeah, you can even click your stuff, but we'll come later to this. So as we see here, we have the config-driven approach where you can easily define, for example, here, when you want to issue a PID, you can even say, okay, I have other services where Eudiplo should fetch data via a webhook. So all the critical data must not be stored on Eudiplo. It will be requested on demand. Then you can also define other parts like, do I need multiple batches of it? Is Depop required? And so on. But when you say, well, I just want a web interface, you can easily configure it there. But the idea is, of course, in the future, when we have the attestation rule books, that you can easily say, well, I want to issue employee cards, and then you just then need to enter, the attributes of your employees. Next, please. Okay, so what's the scope of Eudiplo? The scope is clearly everything that is demanded to be compliant with an EUDI wallet, but for now, not more. We see that there are other ecosystems. For example, we have Anoncreds and so on, which is good. But we also know from projects when you have a product or project with a lot of features, you have to maintain it. You need the human resources to fix bugs or security patches. And so the idea here is to firstly only focus on the requirements from the EUDI wallet. And here we have already the first stack implemented. So from the credential formats, OpenID SDJVC is used because here we have selective disclosure and all the features and privacy features that we need. For the transport protocols, for issuance, we have OpenID for VCI, and for presentation, OpenID for VP, which are both final and in version 1.0 since yesterday, which is great. For signatures, it's the classical elliptic curves, which is really good because here we can even use strong hardware like HSM, so security auditors or companies like BSI or NIST say, well, this is compliant. And of course, in some situations, you need to revoke credentials. It is also supporting the OAuth status list. So here we already have a full stack to issue credentials. But of course, some are missing here, like MDoc, which will be added in the future. Yes, and what is important when we see on the next slide is when you want to find out or to start, it should be not that complicated. So here it's possible to start Eudiplo just with one Docker container and you're up and running. So here we have the different modules like database for storage and so on, key management, identity and access management, and storage. So here you could say, okay, without any dependencies, I can just run it on my local computer to test it or on a small server you have at HWS or so, but you can even say, okay, I want to scale up or I want to go into production. Then you can pick specific other components. We have interfaces for this. You can use one of the existing solutions where you say, okay, I need an HSM or a more robust component to manage my private keys because we see the supply chain attacks in the past. And then you can use them by easily configuring. So here, no recompiling is required. You can just define it at the configuration when the container is starting. And of course, when you say, man, I need support for the Microsoft or for the Azure HSM, you can just implement the interface and make a pull request to the project. So already welcome. Yeah, coming to the roadmap on the next slide. I think
Yeah.
roadmap. Okay. Yes, so starting from the bottom, the most relevant part is, of course, build up a community. So right now I'm the lead developer, and I think I have programmed over 90% of the lines of code. And there was already some contribution from outside, but of course, I would be very happy if we can build up a community around this whole project. And yes, as it's in the Open Wallet Foundation, it will stay there. So even when I say I will leaving or so, there's no blocker for you to continue on this. As said, there will be also other protocols included like MDoc and so on, which are on the roadmap. So it was first the goal to have most MVP out there to get it up and running, and then increasing it by features. And what will be really relevant, or what's the benefit for us right now, is also test new features that are required by IDOS, for example, the registrar, which is a demand from the implementing acts. So here, every verifier and issuer has to identify itself in the member state it's based and also make it public. And this whole interaction with the registrar will be covered by Eudiplo. And also in the future, we are working on the catalog of attestation. So when they are public available schemes, you can just say, yes, I also want to issue diplomas because I'm a university. Yes, I also want to issue membership cards. You can just get the predefined schema and start issuing these credentials for your ecosystem. All right. And of course, we have the wonderful ring. Thank you, Vicky, for the great design.
No, this is huge, really. So integrating to register, yes, this is really awesome.
Yeah. And I can tell you, because it's really important in the future that you're doing this, because when you're not doing this, the wallet will pop up and say, well, you are over asking, and it will warn the user. So the dropout rate of your onboarding service could really suffer from this. And the goal is here to make it very easy for companies out there, on the one, to make it secure for the citizens in the end, but on the other hand, making it also very easy. So we have the perfect, we have no trade-offs when we try to respect security and also usability. Yes, coming to the useful links, I think we can post them later in the chat. But as Vicky mentioned, I think we will be able to share the video, the recordings, and the presentation later for everyone that is right now here. So first of all, the whole documentation of this is online available, where everything is described from working with the code, just setting it up, and also configuring it. Yes, then of course, when you want to interact, you can use the Discord channel from the Open Wallet Foundation. There you can also see other great projects, for example, the Credo framework that is pushed by Animo and other forks. You have Multipass, where Google is contributing, and you have, for example, also here Ascar and so on. Or the ACAPI, where British Columbia is also heavily active. And of course, the most important part is the source code and everything else that is available on GitHub. And normally, even when you start at one of the three links, you will always come to the others. Okay, now the most interesting part. Not the typical marketing slides like what we are promising. So we have also to deliver.
Yeah.
So
let's see.
Okay, screen should be seen. So first of all, we are looking on the left side. What is also really important or relevant to say, that Eudiplo is coming with a multi-tenancy approach, which means when you have multiple organizations or so on, you don't need to set up a new deployment every time. So you can just define another tenant, give them the credentials, and then they are able to manage their credentials. Here you're also able to define specific roles for security reasons, of course. And then you could either log in into the web interface, but you can just say, since it's OpenID Connect, use it, talk directly to the API when you think you can build up a better UI than me. I hope so. Or when you say you have your existing CRM and you can integrate it. Okay, so normally, as I mentioned, the main idea is dealing with configurations. So you don't need to write any code. And here, for example, we have said we have the PIT. For some reasons, we say we can issue PITs. Of course, we cannot do it, but I think it's a very easy use case. And here we have the different parts that we can define. So it's not just that we can just say here, okay, some small stuff. We can even say, okay, I even want to say which features do I want? Do I need revocation? Then, of course, I can give it a little styling. I can, in case of SDJ, give the VCT data and so on. And for the people that say, no, I need classical code, you can just go into the JSON configuration and also configure everything here. Then you can use these credential configuration and say, okay, you want it to now define issuance processes, and we will do the PIT nonce approach, which means we are not using a specific kind of authentication. We are trusting each other. So we also have the authorization code where we could say, okay, please log in with your other credentials, or we also have the presentation during issuance approach. And the idea is right now, okay, let's make an offer. So here I will say, I will give myself a PIT. I will issue it. I'm lazy, so I will issue it. Yes, let's say I'm from Germany. And here, let's generate the offer. So let's see that I'm faster than one of you. So here I have my typical wallet. I would scan the QR code. Now I see, okay, my wallet is interacting with the Eudiplo stuff. Now I see, okay, the PIT is offered here. I'll also get all the information. Yes, I want to accept it. And I got the credential in my wallet. Pretty easy. Now, of course, the other interesting part when I want to consume the credentials. So here I can also generate me a configuration. You say, okay, which type of credentials do I want to consume? What specific claims do I want? In this situation, I only want the locality of the PIT. So here again, I'm generating the offer. Here we see, okay, with whom I'm interacting. Here, by the way, we see also the interaction with the registrar. So here I'm a recognized organization. Of course, it's a demo registrar right now because the whole Eudiplo or the whole EUDI wallet ecosystem is not in place. Okay, I'm trusting this instance. What do they want? Yes, they want my address. I will share it. And voila. And here I see that these credentials were extracted. So Eudiplo will do the whole evaluation stuff. It will check, is the signature valid? Are the credentials passed that you requested from them? And it will, when we have this in the future with the rulebook, look if the issuer was authorized to issue this. Because in the future, we want to make sure that PID credentials can only be issued by PID providers. Yes. And I think that's it. So I think I will
Super.
give it back to you, Vicky.
Yes, super. Thank you. Thank you very much. So let me start back my screen. And I think is the time now for questions and answers. I see several here and there in the chat, but also in the Q&A section. So I think I have the privilege to start first asking a question directly to you. So you said that these connectors will connect to all European digital identity wallets issued by the member states, but we'll have at the same time also private wallet providers following the IRF, following the regulation and being certified according to the requirements of the EUDI framework. So my guess is that this connector will be able to interact also with those wallets, right? So this is the question to have a confirmation from you.
Exactly. Yeah. So Eudiplo also works with non-EUDI wallet. So you must not be certified. There will be the feature in the future that you can ask for a wallet attestation. So you know that you are talking with an EUDI wallet, which is, for example, required for some regulations. But of course, this is not limited. So it's optional for you. And as you mentioned, when you are following the technical protocols, every wallet, either for natural persons, legal persons, or maybe even AI agents and so on, would be able to interact with Eudiplo, which is strictly following the standards that are out there, so no proprietary protocols.
Great. So let's go to the questions. We have, I will start with the questions from the webinar chat. Sergio Storari, hello Sergio. Does Eudiplo completely remove the need to have an enterprise wallet?
As mentioned in the beginning, Eudiplo will be no business wallet. So here the question is, what is a wallet? It will be able to interact with EUDI wallets. So for now, it's right now in the scope to interact with EUDI wallets for natural persons, maybe in the future also for legal persons when the EU Commission has published the technology stack for this, but it will not be the wallet for your company to host your LPIT or to host your own credential. For example, that you can say, I am a certified company in Germany with 10 employees or so. So this is not in scope. You could, of course, go and fork the project and extend these features, but the main scope of Eudiplo is to be the connector out there.
So join the fellowship, join Open Wallet Foundation and start working there, Sergio. He's asking also, is Eudiplo member of the WeBuild consortium? No, because it's not a legal entity, so it's a project, cannot join, but probably we will try to implement it in different use cases in WeBuild. We have another question from Arken. Can Eudiplo be delivered as a commercial service to relying parties?
Yes, as mentioned, since it supports multi-tenancy, you could offer this as a service. So that you say to small or medium companies, hey, instead of managing your own own deployment, we can do this for you. It is also supporting the intermediary functionality, which is a requirement from the EIDAS, so that, for example, you are offering the service for a small company, it can easily be used by them. But this is not the main intention of Eudiplo, because in the end, the whole idea of digital identity or self-sovereign identity is to decentralize everything. This means all the user data should be on the device. And of course, then also the data from issuers and verifiers should not be centralized. So yes, you could do so. And yes, it would be allowed by the licenses, but it's not the aim of Eudiplo to do this. There is also no demo or no open deployment available, because I could not control which data you are sending to it, and then I would be the person in charge when you upload some illegal stuff. So this is the reason why I will not give a deployment for everyone, but I will try my best to give guidance how to easily set it up on your own.
Well, we have, let's take the questions from the question and answer section from Kyriakos. Hi, Kyriakos. Since components like trusted list are not yet deployed, why do you mean in product? What do you mean in production?
Yes, for example, in the future, the IDA says every wallet relying party, so everyone that is interacting with the EUDI wallet, has to identify itself. So it's not self-claimed. There has to be a proof that it's really Sprint company that is interacting with you. And for this, the EIDAS or the implementing acts will say here we will have a registrar in each member state. So German companies have to go to the German registrar, go through a know your customer or know your business process. So they are identified. And when they are interacting with the EUDI wallet, you as a citizen can be sure that you are interacting with Sprint. When the hacker, let's assume Vicky, was able to to fraud you and say she is Sprint, but she's not, then the registrar is responsible for the damage. So here, of course, we have some demos set up to test this feature and to also then give feedback to the persons working on the standards, like what are the challenges for scalability and so on, so that we have in the end working and interoperable standards.
Thank you, Mirko. Next question from David. Hello, David. Is the EU progress map available on the web? It's been super helpful to have the USA progress map on the implementation tracker, because relying parties can know where to focus attention. Yes, this is the map is from an article that I wrote. I will put the link to that article, where you'll find the map in the slide deck that will be shared after this session. Next question, still from David. Which wallet app are you using in the demo?
Yes, so for the current demo, I used the Funke wallet from Animo, from the Netherlands. So in Germany, in Sprint, we had the Funke competition where we had multiple teams. We started with 11 teams that implemented innovative features for the EUDI wallets. And yeah, in the final right now, or the last 4 wallets that we have, I tested it with different wallets. So it's from the Animo one. There's also a page in the documentation where all the wallets will be listed that are compatible with Eudiplo. I know that there are some other wallets also out there, for example, from Lissi or Ubiq or WW Wallet that are compatible. But yeah, you have to right now manually validate if they are compatible and add it to the list. So when you see another wallet and you made the checks, I'm always happy for a pull request for a wallet that can we add to the list.
Thank you. We have another question from Sergio. Will Eudiplo be interoperable with S.p.A ecosystem and W3C VCDM format?
Mm-hmm. As mentioned, the scope is of the EUDI wallet ecosystem, and the scope is defined by the implementing acts. I haven't seen in the current implementing acts any references to EPSI or, for example, to DITS, so it's not in the scope right now. For W3C VCDM, it is right now in the implementing act, so support for it is planned, but it's not in the high priority. Main reason for this is time. But as mentioned before, when you want to contribute it, always welcomed.
Yeah, join the fellowship. From Leonardo, hello, Leonardo. There are a GitHub or GitLab to review Eudiplo is an evolution of the libraries explained at Open Wallet Foundation projects incubated.
Yes, so there is a GitHub link available. I can post it in the chat as soon as possible. I do not get the last part of evolution of the libraries explained. So I know that also one of the main libraries that is used is the OpenID for VC library that is also in the Open Wallet Foundation that is used in the project. Yeah.
So the next question from Julia. Very impressive work indeed. Thanks a lot. Impressive, Mirko. Could you explain a bit more your vision for the integration of data sources like specific KYC providers? Do you expect these implementations to become part of Eudiplo, or will there be an ecosystem around the main connector?
Mm-hmm. So here everyone is able to implement it. So it's not designed for one know your customer provider. I honestly do not get the question. But yeah, as mentioned, every provider that needs to verify some data, it could either be the PIT or any other kind of attestation, can define the configurations for the presentation approach and then consume it. So it's not, of course, the idea to integrate know your customers providers that are offering auto ident approaches and so on, but it could be easily integrated. So for example, we have the classical in the issuance process, you have the authorization phase. Here you could easily redirect to an existing auto ident provider. It will do the identification for you and then say, hey, the person that has run the know your customer process successfully is called Vicky. You can now issue her a diploma and so on.
Next question from Magnus. How much of an obstacle were different OpenID for VC draft versions for interoperability? Will they be in the future?
So I know that, for example, for OpenID for VP, it is right now based on 24. I know that the main contributors behind the library are heavily working on it. So I would assume that Eudiplo is 1.0 compliant for OpenID for VCI and OpenID for VP in the next 4 to 6 weeks.
Thank you. There is still one question in the chat. Commission publish on the GitHub verifier as a service with API that hides all the complexity of OpenID for VP. Seems to me their system have, at least from the point of view of verifier, similar goal as Eudiplo. Is this assumption correct? If so, is there an idea to have similar API?
So there is no standard to so we know the standards between the EUDI wallet and the consuming system between Eudiplo. So here we have standards, but of course there is no standard between connectors and existing systems. Eudiplo here comes with a strong documented open API documentation, so it should be very easy to generate your SDKs around it, so you can easily integrate it. And as mentioned, for example, or as we see in the demo, Eudiplo will do the whole validation for you, so you will only get the payload without any signature and so on. So you do not need to verify or to do any other checks for this, but you are also able, as we saw in the demo, to get the report of the validation parts.
Yeah, so we have another question from Veiko, Eva. Commission did publish already such a service or likely will?
I don't know. I'm not in contact with the commission, what their plan is. I know from my personal past that government is always quite slow. So this is why it's in the Open Wallet Foundation, where people that want to push something forward can do so.
There is still one question in the chat from Flo. Do you mean that the registrar will conduct the KYC process and assume liability in the event of legal disputes? How the registrar will check if the relying parties really check the organization?
So in terms of registrar, this is the whole responsibility of the member state, which is defined in the implementing acts, which means Germany has to provide a registrar, has to publish a policy, how they are validating each relying party that wants to onboard. And this could be a specific approach in Germany. The Netherlands can say, no, we have another approach. But in the end, each of the member states is liable for the identification. So we exactly know with whom you have talked. So I think this is the big advantage of the whole ecosystem, because Eudiplo, when you are a verifier, you will consume all the data, you will go up to the EU trust list, and you can verify the whole approach standardized with liability in Europe, and maybe in some years also in other parts of the world when this is compatible to the EIDAS regulation.
Yeah, there are still already some countries outside the European Union that are preparing their wallet solutions or implementing, developing the national digital identity wallet solution, mapping the IRF and the EUDI framework. So for sure we'll have that situation. We will take one more question because we are reaching the time. Who will maintain the updates with respect to config changes, new wallets, changes in registers over time? What is the reaction time? Is there an SLA?
This is the reason why you should sometimes use or buy a license for software, because then you get a service level agreement. Open Wallet Foundation will not give you a service level agreement, because it's only the umbrella to maintain or to give a host for managing providing a home for the open for the project. And I would say, yes, when the people have time for this. It could be that some companies say, as we see with other open source software, like with Ubuntu or other Linux operating systems, that they say, okay, we will get money from you, but we will make sure that you will get always your uptime, your security incidents. So this is not my plan right now. I just try to do my best to provide a good software and build up a good community, because when we have a very good community in the end, I think we are able also to provide a good solution.
Yeah, sure. So still, there are still some a few questions in the Q&A. If I understood correctly, Mirko, it is not built for providers that offer auto-ident solutions. Did I get it correct? If so, why is that?
That's correct. Yeah, I just thought, your customer question in the beginning was about this, so it's for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. From Margus, hi Margus, it is very useful piece of software indeed. Who is financing the development?
Yeah. So the project is getting no funding right now. I'm spending some of my free time and
Yes.
some of my work time, because for us in the German ecosystem, we see it's great to have a wallet and app installed, but when there are no issuers and verifier out there, the app is a bit useless. So it's great that we all can install our EUDI wallet Christmas next year, but when companies are not ready, it's just an app that is consuming some storage on your smartphone.
And the last question, who do you think are the main beneficiaries of this solution?
I think the main that are companies that are right now want to test, because we have this chicken egg problem. It's not like AI where you say, here, I'm paying, here's my data, 10 minutes later, I see the benefit. The whole idea of the EUDI ecosystem is that we are building ecosystems so that we have credentials that can be shared cross-border, and this can take time. So the idea is to give a tool that will help you to find out, okay, you can demo something to your boss and say, look, we could do it this way, without spending so much time and money before something. And of course, the idea is, or my hope is, people that are consuming are also contributing in the end.
Thank you. With that, I think Mirko deserves a big round of applause from all of us. Thank you very much to everyone that was able to attend this webinar and to stay engaged and to ask questions. You have here our contact details. You can find us also on LinkedIn. We are quite actively participating. And with that, I think it's time to close our webinar. Thank you, Mirko. Thank you again. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Vicky, for hosting this. And yes, the recording and the slides will be available. I think we will send them out via email to everyone that has registered for this webinar.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Goodbye. Have a good rest of the day.